We're living through the greatest deception of our generation. Pride has been rebranded as confidence. Desire masquerades as love. Disobedience parades as freedom. And sins that once made hearts tremble now are in standing ovations on social media. Scroll through your feed right now. You'll see arrogance packaged as self-worth, shamelessness marketed as authenticity, and materialism disguised as motivation. We consume it all, double tap it, share it, and wonder why our souls feel hollow. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody wakes up planning to disobey Allah. Nobody consciously chooses to jeopardize their afterlife. But the world has become masterful at making sin look logical, compassionate, and harmless. Forbidden acts now wear the costume of self-care. In this video, we're exposing 7 things the modern world celebrates as virtues, but that Allah, in His infinite mercy, warns us against. It's not to shame you, but to wake you up before it's too late. You've heard it thousands of times. It's embroidered on pillows, printed on coffee mugs, and whispered in every self-help video. Just follow your heart. It sounds poetic. It sounds freeing. It sounds like the path to inner peace. But here's the truth. Your heart isn't telling you. Your heart is not a compass, it's a battlefield. One moment it pulls you toward sincerity and devotion. The next moment, it drags you toward temptation and sin. Your heart shifts with your mood, your pain, your circumstances, and whoever happens to be giving it attention in that moment. When you're emotional, when you're hurt, when you're lonely, your heart can lie to you, because the heart doesn't always want what's right. It wants what feels good. Think about it. How many people have followed their hearts into relationships Allah explicitly warned them about? How many have chased careers that destroyed their faith because it felt right at the time? How many have severed family ties, abandoned their parents, or walked away from their responsibilities, all because someone told them, do what makes you happy? Here's the problem with that philosophy. Happiness built on disobedience doesn't last. It evaporates the moment guilt arrives. A heart that disobeys its creator will never find peace, no matter how much of this world it accumulates. The Prophet Muhammad said, there is a piece of flesh in the body if it is sound, the whole body is sound. If it is corrupt, the whole body is corrupt. That is the heart. When Islam, you don't follow your heart blindly, you train it. You align it with divine revelation, not fleeting emotion. You let the Quran lead and you teach the heart to obey. That's when real peace comes, not when the heart gets everything it wants, but when it finally wants what Allah loves. The internet tells you to love yourself, to protect your energy, to cut off anyone who doesn't serve your peace. At first glance, it sounds healthy. After all, Islam does teach you to value yourself, to guard your dignity and not to let people exploit your kindness. But somewhere along the way, self-love stopped being about healing and started being about worship. Worship of the self. Now, it's not about caring for yourself. It's about centering yourself above everyone and everything else. Forgiveness has become optional. Patience has been reframed as weakness. And arrogance has learned to disguise itself as confidence. You scroll through social media and see it everywhere. I don't owe anyone anything. I'm done being humble. I choose myself over everything. And somehow, people are more anxious and empty than ever, even while repeating affirmations in the mirror every morning. Why? Because when self-love pushes Allah out of the equation, it stops being love. It becomes a cage, beautifully decorated, Instagram-worthy cageware. You keep feeding your ego while your soul quietly starves. Real self-love in Islam isn't about serving your desires. It's about saving yourself from them. It's loving your soul enough to say no when the world screams yes. It's lowering your ego when it wants to rise. It's feeding your heart with remembrance of Allah, not just dopamine hits. Allah doesn't want you to hate yourself. He wants you to know yourself, and the one who truly knows themselves realizes how desperately they need Allah. They tell you to manifest your dreams. Visualize what you want. Believe the universe will deliver it if your energy is aligned at first. It sounds harmless, positive, motivational, like faith, but with glitter and good lighting. But look closer. You're not asking Allah anymore. You're asking the universe. You're not trusting divine decree. You're trying to control it. And suddenly, prayer duo starts to feel outdated. It's like it's not powerful enough anymore. That's the hidden danger of manifestation. It convinces you that you are the source, that everything you want is simply waiting for your vibration, your belief, your power to unlock it. But in Islam, that mindset isn't confidence's quiet shirk, associating partners with Allah, the Prophet. Taught us to ask Allah for everything, even something as small as the lace of our shoes, because the believer never relies solely on themselves. Yes, you can work hard, dream big, plan for your future. But you don't manifest outcomes. You make dua, and then you trust Allah with the results. You don't attract blessings through energy, you earn them through obedience to the one who sends them. And here's the irony. The more you let go of the need to control everything, the more peace you actually experience. Because dua isn't weakness, it's surrender. It's saying, Ya Allah, you decide what's best. I'll just keep walking. And that's something no amount of universe energy can ever give you. We live in an age where everyone is terrified of marrying the wrong person. They've witnessed broken homes, cold marriages, and couples living together like strangers. So the world came up with a solution. Date first. Test it out. Make sure you're compatible. At first, it sounds wise. After all, who wants to spend a lifetime with someone they barely know? But here's the trap. Compatibility was never the problem, disobedience was. When you step into what is haram for the sake of finding the right one, you've already started your relationship on a foundation that invites ruin. Sin doesn't build strong marriages, it erodes them. You say you want a marriage full of baraka blessing, but baraka doesn't grow in soil watered by disobedience to Allah and what most people call getting to know each other. It often turns into getting attached. It starts with light conversations, escalates to emotional dependence, then progresses to physical intimacy. Suddenly, the same person who once made your heart flutter now leaves you drowning in guilt that won't go away. That's not love. That's the heartbreak Allah tried to protect you from. Islam never said, don't get to know the person. It said, know them through the right door, through family involvement, through clear intention, through prayer and consultation. Because when you involve Allah from the very beginning, you don't just find someone compatible with your personality, you find someone compatible with your Akira afterlife. So maybe the question isn't, do I find the right person? Maybe it's, do I want someone who's right for my heart or someone who's right with Allah? Because one fades with time, the other leads you home. They tell you, speak your truth, be raw, be real. Stop apologizing for who you are. And at first that sounds noble, because yes, honesty is strength. Silence can suffocate you. Bottling pain can destroy you from the inside. But what happens when speaking your truth becomes an excuse for arrogance, being real turns into humiliating others, and setting boundaries morphs into bitterness, and honesty becomes a license to say whatever you feel, no matter who it destroys? Call it authenticity. But sometimes it's just anger in disguise. We don't heal hearts by publicly exposing people. We don't grow by tearing others down. All we do is feed our egos by proving we're the ones who see through it all. The Prophet Muhammad said, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him speak good or remain silent. Didn't say, never speak. He said, choose words that heal, not words that burn. There's a difference between truth and cruelty, between advice and humiliation, between honesty that saves souls and honesty that just makes noise. So yes, speak your truth, but speak it the way the messenger of Allah did, with mercy, with dignity, with the intention to guide, not to win arguments, because truth without mercy isn't courage, it's ego dressed up as virtue. We're all chasing something. Grades, followers, money, validation, status. We call it success, and the world applauds. The more exhausted you are, the more driven you appear. Less you sleep, the more disciplined they call you. You're told to grind now and rest when you're dead. But what if that's exactly what's happening? We're dying slowly and calling it ambition. Somewhere along the way, success stopped being a means and became a god. We started praying to our schedules, worshiping productivity, sacrificing our peace for applause from strangers. And the scariest part, we convinced ourselves it's our purpose. Now, don't misunderstand, Islam never condemned hard work. The Prophet taught us to pursue excellence in everything we do, but excellence is an obsession, baraka isn't burnout, and success without sincerity is just speed in the wrong direction. You'll know it's gone too far when prayer starts feeling like an interruption, family becomes background noise. Your self-worth depends entirely on what you achieve. Not who you are, you reach your goals, but still feel empty. Here's the trap. When you finally get what you were chasing, you realize the finish line keeps moving, because this world doesn't reward peace-only performance. True success in Islam isn't about how high you climb. It's about how clean your heart stays while climbing. Because when Allah blesses your effort, it's not the hustle that matters. It's the barakah that makes every step feel light. We've been told to be open-minded, to listen, to understand everyone's perspective, to accept all paths as equally valid. At first, that sounds noble. After all, Islam teaches adab, etiquette, humility, and compassion toward others. But somewhere along the way, being open-minded stopped meaning understand and started meaning agree. Now, if you speak truth, they call you judgmental. If you defend boundaries, they call you rigid. If you say something is haram, they accuse you of spreading hate. The world replaced truth with comfort. Right and wrong became perspectives. The more we tried to sound kind, the more we became silent about what actually matters. That's not open-mindedness. That's moral paralysis. The Prophet Muhammad was gentle, compassionate, and merciful, but he never blurred the truth. He never said everyone's right in their own way. He spoke truth with mercy because real compassion isn't letting people walk into fire. Just to look tolerant, Islam doesn't ask you to close your mind. It asks you to ground it. Listen. Yes. Understand. Yes. But when Allah has spoken, the conversation ends because truth isn't up for voting. It's revealed. And maybe that's the final test of faith in our age, not how loudly we speak, but how firmly we hold on when the world calls silence wisdom and compromise kindness. Maybe the hardest part about living today isn't choosing between right and wrong. It's recognizing them because the world has blurred the lines so beautifully. Sometimes sin doesn't look like rebellion anymore. It looks like self-expression, confidence, love. But every time Allah calls something haram, He's not trying to take something from you. He's trying to protect something inside. You, your purity, your ability to still feel close to Him. The world will keep telling you to be free. But freedom without guidance isn't freedom at all. It's just another kind of prison, one that looks prettier from the outside. So, if any of these 7 points made your heart pause, don't drown in guilt. Instead, thank Allah that He's still allowing your heart to feel, because the most dangerous stage isn't committing sin. It's when sin stops feeling wrong. And if you've realized something today, say a quiet prayer in the comments. Ya Allah, show me truth as truth, and give me the strength to follow it. You never know who might say Ameen with you, because in the end, the moment you stop calling sin good, start finding your way back to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.